Freezing rain forces precautionary measures across the region, but some may be suggesting the weather event is being blown out of proportion, though officials say better safe than sorry. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. The ice storm prediction is falling flat for some, but the freezing rain forecast has had an impact. Many chose to work from home, libraries changed hours, and some of those walking around town will tell you they had some close calls when it came to almost taking a tumble. Not to mention, some parts of western Quebec have been experiencing power outages. Here's a live look at what it's like outside our building as we speak. It's a very wet scene due to the freezing precipitation transitioning to rain this afternoon. And a live check on traffic right now, a little lighter on the roads as many parents stayed home from work, school bus cancellations, and the hybrid work model making this option way more viable than even 3 years ago when we last saw a freezing rain forecast of this nature. CTV's Tyler Fleming joins us live with more on the weather impact. Tyler.
Yeah, Stefan, the predicted overnight freezing rainfall didn't really happen, but come late morning, the city was fully drenched. Cold, gusty winds weren't helping the matter, creating slick surfaces and travel headaches. One of the biggest impacts was at the Ottawa airport, with dozens of flights canceled, leaving many travelers trapped for some possibly days. Via Rail is also warning of possible delays now as daytime temperatures cooled. Rainfall quickly froze, leaving some taken by surprise, while others were out preparing and hoping to prevent slippery roads.
But this weather seems very unpredictable.
The flight got canceled yesterday, and then we were booked this morning, and of course it all got tangled up, and I didn't get on.
It's getting a little bit slippery. It's not as bad right now, but it's getting there though.
It's not been the funnest time, but no school.
What we've seen throughout the night into the morning is the storm has been changed a little bit. So the track of the storm, and really on our side, is the temperature. It's been a little bit warmer, which means we haven't seen that ice accumulation to this point yet.
Roads are a little warmer, but even so, right now, city crews have begun salting sidewalks and priority roads. The freezing rain will linger into tonight, but for now, it appears a widespread damaging ice storm like in April 2023 is likely avoided. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Tyler Fleming reporting live for us. Thank you, Tyler. And Jackie is tracking this system for us as it makes its way through the region. Jackie, perhaps not as severe as expected with the recent warm-up we saw on the weekend and Monday, changing the ground temperature.
Well, that's close to correct, Stefan. When temperatures hover around the freezing mark, that 1 or 2 degree difference really does change between rain and freezing rain, what we are going to get. And that's exactly what we saw today. And here's a look at the ice accumulation, what we can see for the next several hours. It has subsided compared to what we have seen for most of the day. So we will be getting less than a few millimeters of ice accumulation as we head into early tomorrow morning. But keep in mind, a rainfall warning still in effect for parts of the Seaway. Freezing rain warning is still in effect for here in Ottawa. So when all is said and done, we could see anywhere between 10 to 15 millimeters of that freezing rain or ice buildup. Meanwhile, temperatures here across eastern Ontario hovering still around 1 degree here in Ottawa, about 1 degree. And we are going to likely see, as we mentioned, that freezing rain transition into rain as we move into the overnight. So overnight, 30 to 50 kilometers, those wind gusts. We're getting to a daytime high of just about the freezing mark. So while we see those slippery, rainy roads conditions today, this could turn into icy, slippery roads, especially for our morning commute. These details and more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. We'll check back in with you a little later. Drivers may be breathing a sigh of relief that the weather wasn't worse, but that would be in stark contrast to public transit users who found themselves cursing the system that fails to run properly during these conditions. Viewer video shows sparking and damage to the overhead wires on O Train Line 1 near Lee Station during the freezing rain episode just before 12:30 this afternoon. CTV's Leah LaRocque is joining us live near the halted train with the latest. Leah.
Well, Stefan, I want you to take a look behind my shoulder here. This is one of the stalled vehicles. It's right past Lee Station. It's been here for hours. There was a second vehicle that was further eastbound on the track, and it has been moved. But this train here, you can see that there is visible damage to the overhead wires. And as you mentioned, there was a scene that is quite startling that some passengers saw around 12:30 today. So this is what some people saw. You could see that sparks were flaring off a vehicle that was stalled just past Lee Station. There were 2 vehicles that were halted here. Eastbound service past Ottawa was stopped. It isn't clear what exactly caused the issue, but there is visible damage to the overhead wires, and OC Transpo says it does appear to be weather related, but passengers were left just getting colder and more frustrated.
The guy came on the announcement and said this train's heading back to Rideau, so anyone who wants to get off here.
Fares go up, the taxes go up, but it's like the service goes down somehow.
We have a midterm to go to because it wasn't canceled, but all of OC Transpo to get here was. So it's cold and it was a long walk.
R1 service was brought in and it remains in place to bring riders from Ottawa Station to Blair. Now, if this does sound familiar, there was an incident back in January of 2023 where there was a stalled vehicle right here for very similar reasons. It caused a 6-day shutdown. It isn't exactly clear how long service will be out for today. We are expecting a memo from OC Transpo with more information. But again, Stefan, yet another stalled vehicle. This freezing rain, really no match for Ottawa's LRT system. Back to you.
Thank you. CTV's Leila Rock reporting live from Lees Avenue. The province is hoping to help elementary school teachers that buy classroom supplies out of pocket by announcing a new $750 spending fund. Premier Doug Ford making the announcement today at an Etobicoke school, saying the supply cards will be rolled out this September. The province says teachers will be receiving emails today asking them what kinds of things they would like to see made available for the fund. And this summer, teachers will be able to go onto a website run by Supply Ontario and purchase the items.
It's not us that is going to decide what the teachers need. It's the teachers that are going to decide what they need, because every class is unique. Every class may be different.
What we are going to do is bring the purchasing power of the entire province of Ontario together, offer more, offer it at a lot less cost, and let teachers go online for themselves to buy what they need for their classrooms.
The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario is welcoming the news, but says the government should not be presenting this as a gift ahead of bargaining.
And I think it's more a statement of how badly this government has done with public education, that they feel like they need to say to teachers, we're going to give you the gift of being able to do your job, or being able to provide a Kleenex to a child when they have a runny nose, or paper to write on when you have an assignment that you want to put pen to paper.
The province says it might be able to extend the program to high school teachers in the future. So far, the initiative is expected to cost $66 million. We have a tragic update to bring you. Ottawa police say the senior struck by a vehicle in a South Keys parking lot earlier this week has died. Police responded to the collision around 3 o'clock Monday afternoon in the parking lot on Bank Street near Hunt Club Road. The 83-year-old woman was initially taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries but has since passed away. Investigators are now calling on anyone who witnessed the crash or has dash cam footage to contact them. The search continues for 2 suspects after shots were fired at the U.S. Consulate early yesterday morning. Investigators say 2 people pulled up in a white Honda CR-V around 4:30 in the morning, got out of the vehicle, and fired several shots before getting back in and driving away. No one was injured. This is a surveillance image of the suspect vehicle. RCMP say the case is being treated as a national security incident, and security is being reviewed at diplomatic sites across the country, including here in the capital. Synagogues in the Greater Toronto area were also targets of attacks recently, and today an announcement on Parliament Hill points to plans around doing something about it.
These are direct measures today, targeted measures to deal with the intensity of the crisis today.
The federal government is earmarking $10 million in extra funding for Jewish communities to fortify their gathering spaces and places of worship. It's a move to counter the rise of anti-Semitism after 3 Toronto synagogues were hit by gunfire within days last week. Cabinet Minister Evan Solomon says he has a personal connection to a recent attack.
There are a variety of many things that have allowed me to really reflect on this, and I'm very thankful to be so warmly welcomed.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, details of the latest floor crossing that puts the Prime Minister's Liberal government closer to a majority. Here's what you need to know. Check out a performance from East Coast Experience this Saturday at the Bronson Centre. The St. Paddy's Day concert promises a high-energy show full of Celtic tunes. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Visit the website for tickets. Welcome back to CTV News at 5, and it's time for today's radio question of the day, and we're asking, how is a freezing rainstorm affecting you?
I heard some commotion, and then my colleague says, the train's electrical blue. I'm like, what? So I ran over the window, and that's when I took a couple of photos. And so we weren't sure if the train had passengers on it or not, but we did see the cables that were down, and we think we saw the driver come out of the train.
Christy Cameron is here with more. And Christy, let's talk about public transit, because that's really where we're feeling the impact here in the core of the city.
And you heard there from Sophie Vincent, who works at the University of Ottawa. She sent us a photo, and she basically has a bird's eye view of the train and what was going on today with the overhead catenary system. She heard that commotion. Her coworkers were talking about it. She ran over to the window, and as you heard in that clip, she saw the aftermath of what happened. The cables on the train were down. But you know, Steph, I also chatted with another young woman. Her name was Sophia, and she was trying to take the train home from the University of Ottawa, ended up getting to Rideau, and then she was there with a bunch of other riders trying to get one of the replacement buses.
Right.
But it was very hectic, chaotic. She said there was very little direction, and eventually she was so exhausted, she called her dad to pick her up, and he bailed her out with a ride home. A lot of frustrated riders on OC Transpo today.
Certainly, and I can feel for them indeed, wishing them the best as they try for the afternoon commute. Thank you, Christy. You can join the conversation, leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6, and now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel. The governing Liberals are one seat closer to a majority government, and the country is reacting strongly to this latest floor crossing by a now former NDP MP representing Nunavut. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more.
It was another hero's welcome for the latest opposition MP to join the Liberals. This time, it was a member of the NDP. Lori Idlout says threats to Canada's sovereignty and concerns for her constituents in the north led to this decision.
There are a variety of many things that have allowed me to really reflect on this, and I'm very thankful to be so warmly welcomed.
Now, ahead of her introduction to caucus, the Prime Minister praised Idlout's work as an MP.
We've had conversations about what we can do, both large and small, in Nunavut. What come of that?
The mood within the NDP today was decidedly more dour. Less than a week ago, Idlout spoke at an event in support of leadership candidate Avi Lewis.
I truly am nervous about my influence.
Surrounded by his caucus of just 6 members, interim leader Don Davies said any floor crosser should have to run in a by-election. He also criticized Carney for poaching other MPs.
Whether or not there's a majority government is fundamentally a decision of the Canadian people at the ballot box. And it should happen that way, not through backroom deals.
A similar sentiment was being shared by Conservatives who have lost their share of floor crossers in recent months.
To see her now go to the Liberals, who she's so readily criticized over the last number of years, to me it's a little strange. And I've seen comments from people in Nunavut that a lot of comments that aren't happy with her move.
Now, Carney's path to a majority government just got a lot easier. If the Liberals win 2 out of the 3 by-elections next month, they will secure it, nearly a year after forming a minority government. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
It is the pinnacle of where we aim to publish our trials.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, groundbreaking research by the Ottawa Hospital that was led, a bleeding-edge take that could greatly improve patient care around the world. Coming up tonight after the 6 o'clock news, you can start watching E-Talk at 7, followed by Scrubs, The Masked Singer, Fear Factor, and Shark Tank, all before national news at 11. It's a cold, wet and rainy day in the capital as the freezing rain transitions into rainfall for this evening. What is the outlook for the rest of the week? Here's Jackie with another look at the forecast.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. Taking a look now through our temperatures here, we are seeing the temperatures slightly to warm up, and it will likely get warmer closer to midnight before temperatures start to cool down once again. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's a cloudy day here in the capital, showing Parliament Hill -1 right now, and the winds are going to be starting to pick up and will continue to do so as we head into tomorrow. And again, a reminder, tomorrow will be a very windy, gusty day. Keep in mind the freezing rain warning is still in effect for here in Ottawa and most of eastern Ontario. The rainfall warning also still in effect for along the Kingston area. It has noted, though, that the Toronto area, it has lifted its rainfall warning, so we anticipate that we could likely see these issues lifted by the time the next couple of hours. However, taking a look at temperatures, again, we mentioned those warmer temperatures close to the midnight hour. The wind is going to start to pick up. The morning commute, it might even be icier, maybe much more slippery on the roads as well when you start your morning commute, because the temperatures are going to start off at -3. It will be quite windy as well, so it's going to feel much colder. We're only getting to a daytime high of -2, and this is closer to the 6 o'clock hour. So for most of our day, it's going to feel like -4. We're going to have wind gusts between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, and yes, there could be a slight chance we could see flurries moving through as well. Meanwhile, our friends in the valley, freezing rain mixed in with ice pellets is a possibility for the overnight, where temperatures will dip down to about -8. The daytime high will be -4. And then in the Seaway, -2, so a little bit warmer, but keep in mind with that rainfall having moved through all of our Wednesday, we could see a rainfall total of 15 to 25 millimeters when all is said and done. Tomorrow, daytime high, mainly cloudy skies at 1 degree. And this is that significant weather system that has moved through much of the region. It will clear for Thursday, but you can see that there is a little bit of that freezing rain or those ice accretion that is sticking around for our Thursday into our Friday, where Friday we could start to see some snow moving in through the region. So we're keeping a very close eye on this as we get closer to the end of the week. Now, taking a look at temperature-wise, -2 is what we're averaging for our Thursday and Friday. Things will slightly warm up to about freezing for Saturday, but we are still in the thick of winter with temperatures still hovering around the freezing mark.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
And we have a winner to announce in our Ottawa Home and Garden Show contest. Our grand prize winner is Lorraine Sherlow. She is coming away with $2,500 in Visa gift cards, 4 tickets to the Ottawa Home and Garden Show, and VIP seating. Congratulations, Lorraine, and thank you to everyone who entered. Now, again, Stefan, not quite the significant freezing rain or ice accretion that we did see, but slick and icy nonetheless. So keep an eye on this, especially as we transition to colder temperatures for tomorrow morning.
Lots of people grateful it wasn't worse. Thank you, Jackie.
Elias Pettersson takes a run at Pinto. Giroux goes down, makes a play. Zoop with a shot off a body. Here's Ridley Gregg. He scores!
Coming up on CTV News at 5, Sens fans set to welcome the team home after a Western road trip. If you need gas, one of today's cheapest prices can be found at the Petrocan station on Terry Fox Drive in Canada. Regular gas there is going for 145.6 cents a liter tonight. Here's another live check on traffic. Again, lighter volume than normal. Lots of people staying home because of the freezing rain forecast. You're watching CTV News at 5. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
And here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, -1. Time for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Ball.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
A very significant event, and it's something that occurs at this time of the year when you get this mix of warm and cold air duking it out.
The ice storm not as severe as anticipated, but the impact still being felt right across the region. The LRT had to cancel some of its afternoon trains. School buses also canceled. Power outages in the Pontiac. We have got full coverage.
Grace is being punished because her older sister has a disability.
An Ottawa mom is speaking out after her youngest child was denied a chance to enroll at a French public school because of a policy requiring the eldest child in a family to be evaluated, even though in this family, that is a sibling who has a brain tumor.
Your countries will be making 400 million barrels of oil available.
The war in Iran is fast becoming an economic crisis, and it's all about oil and shipping. What you need to know about the president's latest threat that could have the market reacting. All of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today.
It is the pinnacle of where we aim to publish our trials. So this is very exciting for all of us. This is something that we feel will change clinical practice guidelines.
Just moments ago, an international clinical trial led by the Ottawa Hospital comparing 2 commonly used drugs for the treatment of venous blood clots was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. The results finding one treatment is safer than another. Full details on our website. Gas prices across the city are up by around 1 cent today, with prices at many stations hovering around 155.6. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTagg says regular gas will drop by 8 cents tomorrow and diesel will go down 12 cents. Gas prices began climbing steadily in the days following the start of the Iran war 12 days ago. Travelers can now book a stay at the new Alt Hotel, Ottawa Airport. The 178-room hotel is directly connected to the airport terminal. It also has a restaurant, 24-hour gym, and workspaces. In 2023, the hotel's parent company moved forward with the building of the site after Ottawa City Council voted down a multi-million-dollar grant towards the project.
I think it's great. I think it's overdue. It's something that's definitely needed for Finley Creek.
A new pathway to public transit. South End residents weigh in on a proposal to create a walking path to access LRT at the Leitrim station. A meeting last night had area residents applauding the 500-meter walkway that makes it safer and more accessible. Finley Creek residents could stand to benefit the most. According to the city, it should be ready next year.
Elias Pettersson takes a run at Pinto. Giroux goes down, makes a play. Zoop with a shot off a body. Here's Ridley Gregg. He scores!
The Sens are back on home ice tonight after wrapping up their Western road trip on a high note earlier this week. They're coming off a 2-0 win against the Vancouver Canucks. The Sens are hosting the Montreal Canadiens tonight at the Canadian Tire Centre. Puck drop is 7:30. You can catch the game on TSN and TSN 1200. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. The early edition of National starts now.